We are cutting into your programming to bring you an update to the unrest that's unfolding in Ferguson. We're going to show you some video from less than an hour ago that our chopper took of what is the Ferguson Police Department. We've been covering protests all day. They were peaceful protests until this evening. We do have a crew at the scene, but before we send it over to Robert, we want to tell you the St. Louis County Police Department tweeted that there is damage to the Ferguson Police Department. All non-essential personnel has been evacuated from that building.
You see that, Morgan?
We see that. We do. And what is this man saying? Can you make out what he's saying?
He's saying, no, 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 let me talk.
Let me talk. Let me talk. Let me talk.
It seems like he's trying to tell them to stop throwing things at them. Okay, we got glass breaking at the Ferguson Brewing, unfortunately.
This is unfortunate because a lot of these businesses are owned locally. A lot of them are African-American owned businesses. And we had the trouble last night with some businesses being broken into, and you can see someone trying to vandalize that door. And we had some citizens in Ferguson trying to stop some of these protesters and the vandalism last night. It does not appear that we're seeing that right now.
No, it doesn't. I mean, I hear that. I think that was a flash grenade, a flash thing by police, most likely.
We begin tonight with breaking news. After a day of peaceful protest, the situation has turned chaotic. A 7-Eleven at 17th and Pine, just around the corner from St. Louis Police Headquarters, is on fire. Some vandals and agitators using the demonstrations as cover broke the windows of the store, started looting. A dozen or more vandals grabbed whatever their arms could carry and then set the place on fire. We continue to follow breaking news, a dangerous situation in downtown St. Louis. Our Jenna Barnes right now is at 17th and Pine near a burning 7-Eleven. Jenna.
Yep, Mike, that 7-Eleven is filling the street with smoke right now as firefighters continue to douse it. It looks like the flames at least have been put out. As we announced earlier in the newscast, the fire has appeared to be set by looters who were also looting this 7-Eleven. We're about a half a block away from where a standoff right now appears to be unfolding between demonstrators and police. They were formed in two lines. That is happening just a block from where we're standing right now.
This isn't a movement. This is our lives, and we have to live it every single day.
It's going to be tough. It's a tough fight, but we just got to stick with it.
Walking in my neighborhood, I can't count the amount of times police have just conveniently driven past me.
When you get stopped by a police officer, stick your hand out the window. I'm like, stick your hand out the window? What's going on? He said, these cops will shoot you.
And I said, why'd you pull me over? And it was a white guy, and he says, because I ran your license plate and nothing came back.
I don't think racism is in your DNA. Like, you weren't born to be racist.
My objective through life has always been I have to prove the narrative wrong.
And I'm really kind of sad and kind of embarrassed and feel awful that there is so much racism.
Welcome, I'm Art Holliday, alongside Five on Your Side's Rennie Knott and Ahmad Hicks. This is Race. Listen, learn, live. If you're one of the people who melts down at the mention of Black Lives Matter or systemic racism, or athletes using their platforms for overdue change, this may not be the program for you. But if you're someone who's genuinely willing to listen, someone who's interested in being part of the solution, by all means stay tuned. We're glad you're with us.
We want to bring you up to speed on an early morning uprising at the St. Louis Justice Center, which led to an hours-long stand-up and quite a mess along Tucker Boulevard. That is where Jasmine Payute joins us.
We're going to pan up so you can see where we believe this started. Windows are broken out at the 4th floor of the city jail, where police say inmates broke those windows, threw things out those windows, and set things on fire. This all happened around 6 o'clock this morning. At this time, it's not clear how the inmates were able to gain control of the city jail, but we did speak with the mayor's office about this. They say officers were inside this entire time working to get this under control. Officers from multiple departments, from the police department, from the sheriff's. Yes. All right, Kelly, we're going to send it back to you in the studio. There's a little disturbance out here right now.
Police tell us that inmates were out of their pods since early this morning. That caused some damage to the building. Our reporter Jasmine Payute is safe, and we will continue to follow this story online throughout the day.
Thursday at 10 p.m. Shocking allegations uncovered by the 5 on Your Side I-Team. Employees saying cars towed, then vanished from the St. Louis City tow lot.
It showed that we have 1,000 vehicles in our impound, and it's obvious that we don't have 1,000 vehicles in our impound.
Taxpayer dollars at stake, and the records don't add up.
There's too many vehicles and too many files that were missing just to be a mistake.
Just wait until you find out what is actually happening here. Thursday at 10, only on 5 on Your Side.
Welcome to the St. Louis City tow lot, where some people say once a vehicle passes through these gates, you may never see it again.
You don't just lose vehicles.
James Mundy, a former commissioner at the city's tow lot, is just one of several employees who've reported suspicious activity to the city and to the IT.
Well, I believe the citizens of St. Louis are definitely being scammed.
According to Missouri policy, here's how the lot is supposed to operate. Once a vehicle is towed by the city, the owner has 30 days to get their car back by paying the required fees. If a car goes unclaimed, it can either go to public auction, be sold for parts, or get crushed. Regardless of what happens to it, the city is supposed to make money off every vehicle stored on the lot. Current and former employees we talked to say that's not happening.
They know how to go in there and change the numbers and the name.
This current tow lot employee asked us not to reveal her identity. She's worried about losing her job. She worked with the I-Team to dissect hundreds of pages of tow lot records obtained through a Sunshine Law request. We found over an 11-month period in 2019, 155 cars on the lot were marked as redeemed, but with no money paid.
This is the total amount that the city was going to charge had the individual picked it up. You see down here, nothing was paid. It was redeemed, but it doesn't have the person it was redeemed to.
If our whistleblower is right, that's nearly $78,000 worth of tow and storage fees that the city missed out on. Car theft victims are the only people who can get their car back without a fee as long as it's done within a few days. Other than that,
even a total vehicle, there are parts that are valuable. Yeah, no vehicle's going out of there for free.
200, 225.
Another set of records involves vehicles sold at auction. The records we looked at, there's no buyer listed.
You got to have a valid driver's license and ID to get these vehicles. Nothing's on there to show who it was sold to. They put a frivolous name on there. Some of their addresses have 9999 unknown.
If any of these allegations sound familiar, it's because various clouds of scandal have passed over the city's tow lot for years. Most recently in 2019, the I-Team uncovered this police report showing some cars were leaving the lot without the city seeing a dime.
It's a lot of people involved, and how many and how high up, I don't know.
State Senator Carla May says she's heard about mismanagement at the tow lot from several employees and a relative who once worked there. She urged the St. Louis mayor's office to investigate in 2019.
Cars were disappearing, set aside, held over, no money collected for the cars.
We brought all of these allegations to the man in charge, Commissioner of Streets, Kent Flake. Why are cars leaving the tow lot for free?
Cars should not be leaving city tow for free. All of 2020, we've been audited by both city and state. And to the best of my knowledge, in all of these, they've never found that.
The I-Team is still waiting to see those audit reports. After the 2019 police investigation, Commissioner Flake says City Tow made several changes.
We went to a third-party auctioneer in fall of 19. Prior to that, the auction was ran by tow lot employees. We installed 3 more cameras. We built in several layers of, not necessarily management, but overseeing of positions.
Despite those upgrades, City Tow still does not have a manual of standard operating procedures.
We do have about 40 signs up on the wall with our work rules on them. We've been trying to get an actual work rule manual actually put together so there would be no question about it.
That police report we told you about from 2019, well, it turns out that case is still open. Police couldn't give us any more details. If you've had a questionable experience with the city tow lot, we want to hear from you. Email me directly at prandawa@ksdk.com. For the I-Team, PJ Randhawa, 5 on your side.
5 on your side is your best source to get answers to your questions. Whether it's about back to school, COVID numbers, or something else, text us anytime at 314-444-5125. Just one more way, 5 is on your side.
Experimental drugs being tested right here in St. Louis. Will they work, and could they team up to take on coronavirus? Use soap and scrub for at least 20 seconds. We asked the expert if washing our hands will really protect us from COVID-19. School's out and summertime awaits. With all this social distancing, you want to know if it's safe in the pool. And can furry friends that offer so much comfort carry the disease that's changing the way we live? They're all questions from viewers just like you. The answers next on 5 on Your Side. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Bush. Since the pandemic began, 5 on Your Side is focused on facts, not fear. We asked you to text us your coronavirus questions, and we partnered with Washington University to help answer those questions. Our expert for the next half hour, Dr. Jason Newland, an infectious disease specialist, and let's get right to viewer questions.
For 8 months, this is the fight that's gone mostly unseen. But after just minutes inside this ICU, it was too easy to see how hard it can be to beat COVID-19.
And what are they having to do right now?
They're inserting a breathing tube.
And you've done this is not the first time today.
Oh no, 3 times today. I think that's where we're at.
3 times a day, and it's not even noon yet.
Correct.
Monday, Mercy Hospital St. Louis granted 5 on Your Side access to its COVID intensive care unit to show what this virus is doing to patients and hospital staff. Here, all 12 rooms set up for the most serious cases are full, and the hospital is working to make more room. The only areas off limits to our crew were patient rooms for safety and patient privacy, although emotions sometimes seemed hidden.
What are we not seeing that you want people to know?
I think what you're not seeing is the emotional and physical fatigue of some of the workers.
If the armor meant to hide that stress ever cracked, it was when the virus tightened its grip on one of the sickest patients.
So just getting worse, patient's condition declining.
Is this a common scene?
Mm-hmm. Every day.
Is it wear on you a little bit? I feel like I've seen a change in you a little bit.
It does. I have 600 nurses in my service line, and I want to protect each and every one of them.
So are you saying that you're not just worried about the patients right now, but you're also, when you folks go in these rooms, you're worried about them?
Yes, yes we are.
This one's real sad. I know. I mean, the rest are sad, but I work with them a lot. Well, that's the problem is we get so attached to these patients. They're here forever. Well, they're here forever, and we're their family.
But here, there is no time to grieve when COVID cases are still rising and this work is a calling.
Do you worry about your own safety when you go in there?
Absolutely.
But you keep going back in, it seems like.
We have to if we sign up for it.
Casey Nolan, 5 on Your Side. 4,000 doses of COVID vaccine will be given in the city of St. Louis, 2,300 in St. Louis County, and 1,000 to educators in St. Charles County. Several mass vaccination events are happening this weekend in the St. Louis area. Abby Larico with our vaccine team found out how you can be on the right list to get an appointment if you want one. Abby?
Hey, Casey, I am at America Center right now, which is where those 4,000 doses will be distributed over Saturday and Sunday here in the city of St. Louis. Now, you might be wondering, though, why you didn't get an invitation to this or any of the other area mass vaccination events happening this weekend.
Right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
Blues player, mentor, and legend. Bob Plager, now in the rafters of heaven.
Unfortunately, I'm here today to confirm the passing of blues legend Bobby Plager.
A car accident took his life, leaving our region in mourning.
He was the blues. He was here from the beginning.
And after 5 decades, lived to see the Stanley Cup win.
It's unreal. You know, I had 3 chances, didn't make it, but tonight makes up for it all.
The note's true ambassador and shining light.
The stranger-than-fiction story of Pam Hupp and the murder of Betsy Faria has been playing out in the St. Louis area for years. Now, it's about to be chronicled in a 6-part series with Oscar award-winning actress Renee Zellweger playing the part of the convicted killer. Tonight, we have reaction from several of the real-life characters involved in this saga.
And an exclusive interview with the man who was wrongfully sent to prison for his wife's murder. Here's 5 on Your Side's Christine Byers.
So what advice do you have for Renee Zellweger in playing Pam Hupp?
Well, she's going to have to gain some weight to play the way Pam looked back then. So she might have to use a little Hollywood magic to make her look like the evil person that she's going to play.
Russ Faria has good reason to despise Pamela Hupp. In 2011, his wife of 12 years was found stabbed to death in their Lincoln County home. A botched investigation led to Russ Faria's arrest and conviction. He spent 3.5 years in prison before attorney Joel Schwartz ultimately got his conviction overturned by showing how police and prosecutors missed evidence that pointed at Hupp.
Do you know who's going to play you?
Since this was announced, I've been asked that. The prevailing wind seemed to indicate that people wanted to be Matthew McConaughey.
Hupp's quest to see Russ Faria put behind bars for his wife's murder didn't end there. In 2016, she lured a man named Louis Gumpenberger to her home, killed him, and tried to claim Russ Faria sent him to kill her. St. Charles County prosecutor Tim Lomar charged her with his murder.
This is a story that actually happened. This is a real thing. There were real victims, real people involved, real people's lives impacted. So, you don't want to minimize that by any means. And hopefully the production respects that.
Hupp pleaded no contest to Gumpenberger's murder in 2019 and was sentenced to life in prison. Also that year, Russ Faria won a $2 million settlement against the police who investigated the case. The new series will be based on Dateline episodes.
It is very emotional, and it's sometimes hard to watch because it kind of brings me back to that moment.
He hopes the new series will spread the same message he tries to when he speaks about his ordeal to raise money for the Midwest Innocence Project.
Yeah, it's a story about people, but it's also a story about, how the system can fail and how people can be corrupt. Even the people that we depend on and think of as good guys are not always good guys.
How do you think Betsy would feel about this series?
I think she'd also be honored, that somebody's trying to get her justice and get her story out there as well.
Christine Byers, 5 on Your Side.
Well, Russ now lives in O'Fallon, Missouri. He's in a new relationship and works at a friend's motorcycle shop. His wife's murder remains unsolved. To read more about when the new series will air and who others would like to have play them in the series, you can read Christine's full report at KSDK.com.
Tonight, both sides of a controversial confrontation in the Central West End are defending their actions. Good evening, I'm Ann Allred.
And I'm Mike Bush. People across the country are weighing in on the encounter, which had a couple pointing guns at protesters outside their home.
But did they commit a crime? Our Jenna Barnes is live tonight with what she learned. Jenna?
Yeah, and the couple says the protesters broke down this gate to get into the neighborhood, and you can see it is damaged, but the protesters say gate was open when they came through. I talked to a constitutional law professor who says the critical piece of this happened beyond the gate.
Why are you threatened?
New video shows the tense moments Patricia McCloskey and her husband Mark pointed guns at protesters outside their Central West End home Sunday night. Protesters say they were on their way to Mayor Lyda Crusen's house to demand her resignation. when the McCloskeys came out of their mansion armed.
We must protect the rights to peacefully protest, and any attempts to chill it through intimidation or use of force will not be tolerated.
Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner released a video statement Monday promising action.
And I will use every extent of Missouri law to hold individuals accountable.
But experts say Missouri law may actually support the McCloskeys.
A lot of people are not familiar with Missouri's castle doctrine, which we have extended to real properties.
SLU constitutional and criminal law professor Anders Walker says Missouri's castle doctrine is more robust than other states, meaning people can use deadly force to protect not only their home, but also their land. He says the private Portland place where the McCloskeys live counts.
I think that those streets are owned collectively, and it's essentially like walking onto private land.
And that means, in his view, the protesters who on a public street would be practicing their First Amendment rights were the ones breaking the law.
So there's actually, one, no right to protest, and then the protesters themselves are trespassing.
You may have seen some text on the screen during the new video of this encounter. We want to let you know that is commentary, and it is the photographers, not ours. Tonight, we've seen a couple of private security cars drive by the couple's home, but so far, all is quiet here. Live in the Central West End, Jenna Barnes, 5 on your side.
Your voice matters, so ensure your voice gets heard. Know where to vote, know how to vote, and know important election deadlines. The 5 on Your Side in-depth voter's guide is your one-stop source for everything Missouri and Illinois this election. Always available at ksdk.com/voters guide. 5 on Your Side, your 2020 election resource.
You got registered, you've studied the issues, you made a plan, and now it's time to cast your ballot. Well, here's what you'll want to have on hand when you do. In Missouri, you will need at least one form of identification to vote. That could mean a state, government, or college ID, a current utility bill, bank statement, paycheck, or government document that lists your name and address, or the handy ID card your local election authority mailed you. In Illinois, registered voters don't typically need to show their ID. However, it is useful to have it on hand in case the election judges challenge your signature or if you're missing information from your registration. You will need to bring 2 forms of ID if you are registering or filing for an address change and voting on the spot. Acceptable forms of ID include the usual state, government, or school issued ones, plus paychecks, utility bills, bank statements, government documents, or even your lease or rental contract. In either state, if you wind up at the polls without the necessary ID, don't leave before casting a provisional ballot. That's a ballot that will count once election authorities are able to confirm your identity and registration. Bring notes with you if you want to remember who and how you want to vote, and don't forget your mask. Voters can't be forced to wear them, but they are strongly encouraged. In Illinois and in some Missouri election authorities like St. Louis County, face coverings are required to keep polling places safe. If for some reason you won't wear a mask and are voting in person where one is required, election workers must still help you vote. That may include bringing you to a designated area to cast your ballot or bringing your ballot to you to vote curbside. And as they say, pack your patience. Though early and mail-in voting will help spread out crowds, you should still be prepared to wait. With your Know to Vote, I'm Abby Larico, 5 on your side.
The votes are in. They continue to be counted as we wait for the latest results on this election day, November 3rd, 2020. Good evening. I'm Mike Bush. Welcome to 5 on Your Side election coverage of Decision 2020.
And I'm Ann Allred. We are covering nearly 300 races right now for you tonight. We have live team coverage with crews spread out on both sides of the river for the latest reaction from the candidates and analysis on how people in Missouri and Illinois, how you voted.
Now to the race for governor of Missouri, the Associated Press declaring that incumbent Mike Parson has won his first full term. The 65-year-old former sheriff of Polk County became governor in 2018, of course, when Eric Greitens resigned. Battling it out against State Auditor Nicole Galloway, the only woman and Democrat statewide elected official, Mike Parson, declared the winner tonight by the Associated Press.
And we have team coverage of the governor's race. Morgan Young is covering the Galloway campaign from Columbia. But let's go live to Sarah Mackey in Springfield with the Parson campaign. We got a warning the governor is about to address his supporters. Sarah.
out with his family. I do apologize. The stage may not be entirely viewable from our vantage point, but we are going to try and get you at least some of the words from Governor Parson tonight. We do have a smaller group than maybe you would expect because of the coronavirus. This was an invitation-only, limited capacity event, though you can see people have really tried to squeeze their way to the front of the stage here to try and hear what the governor has to say, and it does look like they're bringing it down now. Let's take a listen.
I'll tell you what a great night.
For about the last 15 years, Missouri's been trending red. It's been a red state, and that is holding tonight.
Our political editor Casey Nolan is here, and he has some new tools to help us understand how bi-state residents are voting in tonight's big races. Casey.
Well, let's just pick up with what we were just hearing there in the governor's race. You know, Nicole Galloway, as Ann said, Democrats threw at the governor who was not elected to that position. They threw at him, their only statewide elected official. She did well in St. Louis County. She did fantastic in St. Louis City. You can see she had about 80% of the vote there. You go to St. Louis County. So she's going to have to do really well there in order to offset the losses that she knew she would have statewide. And then you want to kind of keep the margins close in St. Charles County and Jefferson County.
In the race for Missouri's 1st congressional district, Democrat Cori Bush, the registered nurse, the pastor, the activist, who pulled off the biggest upset of the primary, upending 10-term incumbent Lacey Clay. And this result never in doubt. Her Republican opponent, Anthony Rogers, is a comedian who hosts an online interview talk show. And you can see Cori Bush, with 82% of the vote, has been declared the winner in U.S. House District 1.
A landslide. Jasmine Payute is with the Bush campaign in North St. Louis County. Jasmine.
And a big night here. You can still feel the excitement. Things have slowed down a little bit at this election night watch party, but you can see Cori Bush a little bit behind me. Her supporters here celebrating this win. Cori Bush becoming the first Black woman to represent Missouri in Congress.
Everyone claims to have accurate weather, but only one has the Weather Rate seal of approval. 5 on Your Side Weather. Verified, the most accurate in St. Louis. So what's Weather Rate? It's an independent company that monitors local forecasts, temperatures and sunny skies, to precipitation, wind, and fog. They track it all. St. Louis weather can be unpredictable, so place your trust with the best, setting the standard for accurate weather forecasting. 5 on Your Side Weather.
With the snow ending, road crews, they're finally getting kind of a break. But the snow, that's just part of their problem.
Yeah, our Casey Nolan is live on the roads tonight with efforts to clear the pavement before the morning commute. Casey.
Mike and Ann, you know, it's not just the snow. We've got the wind throughout the day, and then these extreme cold temperatures make for the perfect storm when it comes for roads that are really hard to clear. Take a look. This is I-55 northbound coming into St. Louis. The double nickel, if you will, here is single lane at best. Right now, with hardly any traffic, it doesn't feel that dangerous, but we know it is slick, and we know it could be even worse in the morning.
Today in St. Louis is here with the most important information to kickstart your day.
Together, we're going to show you what's happening in St. Louis so you can understand how it affects you.
While your morning routine may be different, I've got the traffic information you need to get you where you're going.
And it's going to be a beautiful week. I'll let you know how long this nice weather is going to stick around. Wake up to the most accurate local news every morning. We're here for you during these changing times.
Better mornings start here. See you in the morning. Clark Kent is actually in this morning doing weather for us?
Yes.
Why not?
So we've been still looking for this Slaughter guy. Sounds like his first name is Anthony. He does not go by Tony, apparently. So we'll be looking for him. In fact, I've got a few calls in right now. Oh, you say nope. Oh, nope, still nothing. Okay, we'll keep you posted, all right? But apparently he does the weather, so I think I have to fill in for him real quick as I try to search for him.
Okay.
So it's cold this morning. I think that's something he would say. Temperatures are in the 30s, and there is something known as a wind chill. Yeah, I think that's what it feels like when you go outside. 29 degrees, that's what it feels like, so just be careful this morning. If you're on a search and rescue through the day, looks like you're okay to go. Temperatures in the 50s later on. It looks like we're getting word of, wait, no. Oh, wait, we have someone else on standby. I believe Catwoman is in studio this morning. Catwoman, are you there?
I am. I'm prowling about looking for this Slaughter character. Where is Slaughter? He's not on 270. I'm looking. I've been looking, searching all throughout the area. I do not see this Slaughter fella in South County, not in Melville, not in Creve Coeur. He's not in Spanish Lake.